So greeting and thank you so much for tuning in today's Rethink Fit Travel Spotlight series, where we focus on recommendations for venues, destination, and services for wellness travelers and events. And I'm your host, Lisa Meller. I'm the co-founder and the chief events director for Rethink Fit Travel. And today we're honing in on the Anchor Collection. We have a very bespoke and hand-selected boutique property collection and destination management services included from around the world, handpicked by Cherryl. And I've got the absolute pleasure of interviewing my good friend, Cherryl Brazier, who's the owner of Anchor Collection, with us today. Welcome, Cherryl.
Thank you very much for inviting me to join you today, Lisa. I'm very excited to do this.
I know, we're going to have a lot of fun. And as a quick note, for those of you who don't know who Rethink Fit Travel is, we are a full service events management and destination agency that focuses on wellness, tourism, and events around the globe. We believe in living well, being well, traveling well, and our goal is to help provide focused, intentional, and transformational experiences to help people and groups that are on their personal journeys to wellness. Cherryl, let's stop here and let's talk for just a little bit about some of the trends and the things that we're actually seeing in travel. So you and I have been friends.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we've been friends for a long time, and we both are athletes. We love water. We've traveled the world together, and we love life-changing experiences. So with that in mind, share with us a little bit about the Anchor Collection and your background and just kind of how all of this came to be.
So how did this come to be? So I've always been involved in the hotel sales side. I was global sales for a major international hotel chain, and decided I really would prefer to do my own thing and put my own collection together, looking more at the unbranded, unique hotels around the world that are more difficult for planners to find when they're looking for something a little bit more unusual, a little bit more bespoke, unbranded. And a lot of these hotels don't have sales representation in the US, hotels, venues, DMCs. They're smaller, they're boutique. They don't have anybody doing that job for them in the US. So I put Anchor Collection really to represent a lot of the little guys that planners are looking for, but are tough to find.
Oh, and it's so appreciated. That's something I've always looked to you for years, is for those little recommendations. And not only have you traveled to them, many of them, yourself, but then in finding this collection, you've been looking to dig for those gems that would take me hours, if not days, and I may never find them, or have that personal recommendation for you to say, I think this is a fit or this isn't, so.
Yeah, and everybody that I represent, my kind of commitment to them and also to the client is I visited every property I represent. So whether it's how far is it from the airport, how many cars can I park outside, or what's my view going to look like, I can say that from a first-hand experience. And that's difficult when you're working for a larger hotel company. You really don't know the properties as intimately. But with these, I have an ongoing relationship with the owners or the general managers. So it's a little more personal in terms of the relationship.
Yeah, and it shows. It's been wonderful. Um, we've talked also about wellness, and there's a lot of ongoing demand. Wellness is now a $4.5 trillion global sector of the economy, and it's doubling the rate of growth of just about any other sector. So it's huge. It's really growing, and we're seeing that travel choices are changing as a result of that. It's really influencing our culture and the way that we think and the way that we frame. So what are you seeing right now with what your clients are asking or what you think people are really looking for out there?
I think there's more of an emphasis on the outdoors and the location of hotels to be around nature a little bit more, and to have the experiences. So it's not just about the hotel, it's where is it located and what can I do when I'm there. So it's getting outside, being with family, being with friends, and being able to reconnect. And I think you and I have mentioned this, that it's the wellness side is not just about the physical side, it's also about the mental side. And I think being outside, being around nature helps us on mental health. So I think there's more people that are looking for that side. And after the tough 18, 16 months that we've all had, I think people just want to reconnect with nature, with family, with friends, and be together in an environment that is healthy and inspiring and enlightening.
I really think you're right. And you were looking at so many different aspects of wellness. It's not just that physical fitness, but it's really like a whole health approach. So it's about great food, great experiences, great people, feeling warmth, feeling accepted, having that, wonderful hospitality, but also having a chance to be, either socially with a group that you choose and maybe with like-minded people, but also to reconnect to yourself. If you want a little bit of alone time and you want to just kind of focus on what it is that you need as an individual. We even look at, how do we can look at incorporating all five senses. Maybe your
Hmm.
aromatherapy isn't just in the spa treatment, and they say, would you like, lemongrass or lavender? But instead, it's the smell of the salty sea air, right? Or it's fresh cut grass, and those things that kind of bring us back. Um, and I think that's what some of the properties that you've put together today really kind of embody, some of that, really unique experiences that are long lasting and that kind of help transform the way that we think about ourselves and where we are.
Right. And I think it's not about the rushing around to see as much as I can on a whirlwind tour of a country. It's more getting to a place where you can just be. And whether that's you've got a great view from your deck, or you're out having a picnic on a lawn or by a river, but a little more time for stillness, and a time. And I think that's where the mental health and also the physical, it's like we can't all just rush around so much that there needs to be some time for stillness and to just be. And you want to do that in a great destination.
Yeah, it's so true. So true. Well, let's get into it. So share with us some of the pictures and the images of the places that you've highlighted and how you came to select some of these because I love them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I think one of the ones that is probably one of the most stunning country house hotels in UK is Clifton. And if you want to be in a location, I mean, obviously it's a five-star property, but where you've got a lot of natural environment around you, this is actually set in a National Trust parkland. So you've got the River Thames running past you. You've got a lot of beautiful manicured gardens, but you've also got a lot of natural environment as well. And they encourage people to obviously walk around the gardens, but there's opportunities as well to help in the garden if you want to do that. It's a great place for kids because there's a lot of places to run around and let off steam, but the views you get really from the property are just amazing.
Well, I
And
remember.
also,
Oh, see, I
go ahead.
remember being on property there with you and just taking that walk down to the river was
Mhm.
so wonderful. It's so peaceful. And just at sunset, it was just like, kind of the way that the air just hung in the mist in the morning was just so outstanding.
Yeah, and both you and I like to find somewhere where you can walk or run either in the evening or in the morning, or you can swim. And you can walk just walking along by the river in the morning. And I was very lucky to be able to stay at the property right there on the river. And it's magical. It really is something very, very special. You don't often get to live where the River Thames is right outside your doorstep. So it's very cool. And obviously they have amazing spa facilities, but also, a beautiful outdoor pool. This is actually, which has the amazing historical side to it as well. This is kind of the scene of scandal because it was actually part of the perfumer affair actually started from this swimming pool. So the great thing about it is you've got an amazing history in a great location as well, which is something that the staff of the hotel are very willing to partake the knowledge that they have on the history of the property. And the thing I think you and I both found is the staff, it's a five-star hotel, but they're very informal, they're very fun, and not stuffy. So you can go and do that and not be intimidated by the environment, I think, and just relax and enjoy it.
Yeah, it's a casual luxury, which I think that
Yes.
is a bit of a surprise that people expect or maybe anticipate a certain something from England that, it's very warm and welcoming. Wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that shows in the hotel product. Obviously, you've got a lot of suites. It's about 48 rooms in total. So it's not huge, but there's a lot that you can do in that area. Um, oh, um, one of the things you've got is obviously with the River Thames, they've got their own fleet of boats, so you can actually do that along the river. You can have your nice bottle of Verve on the boat with you. You can do a little picnic, and it really is, particularly at sunset. I mean, it's romantic, it's special, and again, we're talking about the experiences. It's creating those unique experiences that you really can't do anywhere else, and something that's authentic to the destination as well. And that's something I think Clifton does very well. Their sister property is further south, down on the south coast, Chewton Glen. Again, I mean, just a fantastic destination. You can see there, obviously, you've got croquet on the lawn, which is something just so quintessentially English, that you kind of have to try it when you're there. And it's actually a fun kind of family game, or a fun game to play with friends. It's one of those ones nobody's really played it before, so there's no pressure to be good at it. You just get out there with your nice glass of Pimm's on the lawn and play croquet, which is fun. Again, great room product. 5-star, a little bit bigger, about 75 rooms. But one of the great things about this destination is they have these tree houses. They have about 16 tree houses within the property, in a little glen, and they really are an amazing location. We're saying just about being, if you just want to sit on their deck, it's a great place just to be. But the way they're designed, the roof, where it's pitched roof, they actually have an area there for the children. So if you're taking your family, they have their little step ladder up, and they've got almost like bunks up there. So it's a great family location as well.
That's a fun
Super
loft.
cute.
You're in like a treehouse loft.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And then, you've got a lot of grounds there as well. So if you want to get out and run in the morning, you can walk down to the beach in 10 or 15 minutes. There's some great areas you can walk around. And again, great swimming pool area. The groundsman there, Darren, I actually follow him on Instagram now, and he's just amazing. They've set up a whole orchard of trees that are kind of historic in terms of they're losing their areas that they've been growing in. So he's trying to preserve these different types of trees. He's done the same with sheep. They have some sheep on the land now that, again, a breed that's dying out. And you can actually take a sheep for a walk at Chewton Glen. So they've done some really unusual things at the property. But you have still got one of the most beautiful spas as well. It's just been totally renovated. So you've got the traditional wellness, but you've also got the area that I think a lot of other people are looking at. They have an amazing kitchen garden, and they encourage people to go into the kitchen garden, talk to the gardening team there, and really get to know them. And they're more than happy to take people around the grounds, and they do that. They can schedule that with the grounds people and do a tour of the grounds and a kitchen garden. And the kitchen garden then also feeds the cooking school they have there. So it's about, and particularly, I think, again, if you've got families that are traveling, it's about letting the kids learn where their food comes from, and then actually seeing it grow, and then taking it into a cooking school and learning to cook with it. So, and I think that's something, again, that is missing in a lot of places, is actually teaching children the importance of good food and nutrition, but being in a fun environment where they can learn to cook it as well.
I think that's amazing. And it's a great point that you talked about with introducing it to children, because that's where they start to learn. And typically these culinary experiences are reserved for an adult only type of program. And if you can really get the whole family around a cooking experience, that kind of brings us back to our family roots, where most of the conversation, most of the healthy connection actually happened in the kitchen and around cooking. So in a way, it's like guests can go home with kind of a rekindled love for cooking together, and the kids can feel involved. So this is a really special spin on traditional cooking culinary experiences.
Right. And it's been interesting that, I mean, I've always loved to cook. I was trained as a chef as part of my hospitality school training. And my nephews, one in particular from an early age, would come into the kitchen and say, is there anything I can do to help? And I always said yes, even if it was just chop an onion or do something. And now he's a great cook now. It's way better than I am. He will cook Thanksgiving dinner, Christmas dinner, whatever. And just from that early age of, yes, come in, I'll teach you to cook. I mean, I taught him to Chinese food, all sorts of things. But just, when kids show that early age of early interest, get them involved and get them to help. And I think that stays with them through life. So, yeah.
Agree.
And then we were talking about the salt air. One of the great things is with the location of Chewton Glen, you're right on the south coast. So you can do the Fast and Furious and the speedboats if you want to in the Ribs, but you're also very close to Lymington, which is a home of sailing, which is obviously close to my heart being a sailor. So it's and it's a beautiful village down on the south coast in an area called the New Forest, which still has wild ponies as well, which you don't really expect to see in England. So you've also got like Bewley Vintage Car Museum close by. There's a lot of natural purveyors of produce down there, whether it's honeys or cheeses or stuff like that. So the New Forest is a really fun area to explore. And like I say, it's a very unspoiled, one of the most unspoiled areas actually within England to explore. So a fun location.
And about how far is Chewton Glen, for example, from one of the major international airports?
You're about an hour and a half coming down from Heathrow. It's very easy to take the train out of London. And again, probably an hour and a half out of London by train. And then they'll come and pick you up from the train station. So if it's really nice to centre if you do a few nights in London, but then you want to get out to the countryside. And I don't feel people really get to know England until they get out of London.
That's what I was thinking. That's why I asked that, because people only think of going to London and they miss so much more of what makes England so charming.
Right, and within the collection, apart from Chewton Glen, you've also got the Lig and Arms, which is in the Cotswolds, and it's in a village called Broadway. And we always joke, it's like if Disney was going to design an English village, it would look like Broadway. It's the quintessential English village with the duck pond and the pub and the phone box, and it's just beautiful. And that's when you really get to understand what England is about, as opposed to just London. It's that you get to really appreciate the countryside from England.
Yeah,
so. And then moving on to Scotland, this is something that's a little different. It's actually up in the Highlands of Scotland near Balmoral, near the Queen's home. It's about an hour from Aberdeen Airport. And this is a 12th century baronial home that you can take over. And I think that's one of the trends as well now, is people looking for exclusive use, where you can go with, whether it's a board of directors, whether it's a special interest group, or whether it's family. And this is 12 rooms and you take over the whole thing. So having that exclusivity and having the place to yourself is, I've seen as a trend at the moment, that people want that, as opposed to being in a bigger hotel with a lot of other people. This is a much more private environment. The rooms are beautiful, so it is a great environment to stay in. There's only one that's that crazy tartan. All the rest, it used to be owned by Billy Connolly, the Scottish comedian, and that was his room. So that's why it was.
Well, it has a story to tell. That's why, you know.
There's a lot of stories from this property, that's for sure. And you can imagine sitting around with family and friends. It's like, you're in Scotland when you've got tartan on your ceiling. So it's kind of fun. But one of the other things I love about this property, this is the area it's just along from the property, but sitting out there at night, they have a barbecue kind of just close by there. You can barbecue, you can set the bonfire there, and just sitting outside during the summer with family or with friends, with colleagues, and enjoying. I mean, it's just such a special place. And the nice thing is, up in Scotland, it's light till so late at night. It's probably going to be 10:30, 11 o'clock at night before it gets dark during the summer. So it really is a kind of special place to reconnect. There's also about half a mile of private river front as well, which is great for anybody that wants to try fishing. You've got trout fishing there, so you can do that. But the other thing you can do is really get out into the Highlands, and again, getting to know the countryside. This is the Cairngorms National Park, which is just close to the hotel, where you can do, your off-roading, very much off-roading. You can drive these through the rivers. You can really and it's stunning, absolutely stunning out there. The Director of Sales and Marketing, Frederica, is also a gilly, and that's like a Scottish guide. But her thing is foraging. So they, connected to the hotel, they can take you out foraging in the local countryside. She's also extremely well connected for she's almost like a tour guide that can set your itinerary for you. So she sets them up for women-owned distilleries, or if it's local produce or smoked salmon, or you want to learn about tartan, amazing resource right in the house there that can help. So again, authenticity, getting connected to the local people and getting connected to the local history, I think is something that is really important at the moment.
Absolutely.
Oh, And then for something a little different, this is actually a property in Orlando. And again, on the private home side, something you can take over. It's 15 rooms, great one with family, with friends, with colleagues, great for a team meeting at the moment, where you can have your own property. As you can see, again, reconnecting, bringing the outdoors in, just opening the doors and enjoying the environment there. Great room product. But one of the nice things I think with this property is, from the wellness point of view, you've got your own gym with a Peloton. You've got your own spa, so steam room, hammam, sauna, treatment rooms, all to yourself if you're staying at that property. You've also got your own basketball court, which is kind of fun. So half-court basketball court. And then you've got this great outdoor space. So the upper deck here makes a great yoga space. So it can be used for yoga retreats as well. So again, it's slowing down, staying in one place, enjoying what you have, and really benefiting from the mental health benefit of just being and staying in a great environment. Also, you've got here, you can bring your own chef in. So if you've got particular dietary needs, they can accommodate that. People can bring their own chefs in here, or you can cook whatever you want to. So again, that health aspect goes right the way through to the choice of menus. And I think when you're taking something over like this, or like with Canada Craig, you choose what you want and they provide it for you.
And this property is, again, where we kind of skip through that real fast at the beginning.
Okay, it's in Orlando, so in the Reunion area of Orlando. It's about 30 minutes from the airport, obviously 30 minutes up to the parks if you've got kids and you want to go and do that. But you're also sitting on a couple of private golf courses as well that you can use. So yeah, so those are just a few of the ones that I've picked out the collection. But obviously with travel destination management companies in Greece, Spain, Portugal, Italy, and now Germany, experiences like this can be created in a number of different countries. But these are just a few that I highlighted that are kind of the unique ones within Anchor Collection.
And it's so great to see how the collection also has been growing, and also, and expanding. And as you're working with these properties, really getting to know what they offer, but also matching them to various client interests, right? Like that's really a part of the job for all of us, is to say, okay, well, what are some of the best properties that we can pick that will really highlight what either that group is looking for or what that family is looking for, and to bring these together. And especially I can see with Orlando right now, very easy to get to. Europe really opening up, and I can see that for 2022, there's probably going to be just, an incredible surge in demand as soon as people feel that they confidently can book and that things won't change on them, and I think we're very close to that bubble where we're feeling that we'll have that. But now is really the time, though, to be looking at where can we go, this next, for this next year, where people are looking at where they're going to go this fall, where are they going to go, for Christmas, even for holidays and whatnot. But what I've been finding is that the wellness traveler, individual travelers, they're going, and places are booked solid, and it's really tough to get out. But with that, I think we probably should call it a wrap. It's been a really great opportunity just to see these couple highlights. There's just so much more that I'd love to know, that I'd love to see. But I can't wait to get to the mall. And for those of you who are interested, check us out. Check out anchor-collection.com. Just anchorcollection.com, and also follow Anchor Collection on Facebook and Instagram as well, so you can really see what Cheryl's doing and participate in some of her online events, as well as stay informed. And follow us on rethinkfit_travel on Facebook and Instagram, and check us out on the website. We'd be happy to help you guys book. And again, I'm Lisa Meller of Rethink Fit Travel with Cherryl Brazier of Anchor Collection. And we just want to thank you guys again. Share your comments and your feedback with us, and we hope to travel well with you and soon. Thanks again.
Thanks, Lisa.